Good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. Nigeria and the Republic of Niger have resolved to, to deepen and expand the highly beneficial ties between the two neighboring countries for the benefit of their peoples and economies. This was the high point of the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and the visiting President of the Republic of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Nigerian leader is visiting Nigeria for the first time since coming to power on the 2nd of April.
Des relations commerciales très intenses. Nous avons les mêmes intérêts économiques.
There's a joint commission, the Nigeria and Niger joint commission, and that hopes that President Muhammadu Buhari will also push for this joint commission to come up with concrete projects and proposals for the two countries to pursue. There's a railway line from Maradi to Katsina, which is also part of integrating the economies of the two countries. And that now Niger is going to become an oil exporting country. And so also increasing cooperation with Nigeria to promote and develop commerce for the advantage of the two countries.
All right, let's take you to Anambra State, where we hear that suspected hoodlums early hours of today attacked the Zone 13 police headquarters, Ukpo, Anambra State. We're yet to get full details of the incident. However, we hear that hoodlums set ablaze the building and some security vehicles within the premises of the police headquarters. Unconfirmed reports indicate that 2 police persons died during the attack. And regarding that, we'll be joining our correspondent in Oka for details on that. But let's continue with the news. And another report just reaching us says Uzo Akoli police station in Abia State was attacked by unknown gunmen. Some officers and vehicles were burnt, plus 2 detainees have been freed. We'll bring you the details in our subsequent bulletin. Let's turn our attention to other issues. Constant interface by board members and activities inactivities of some government parastatals due to lack of understanding of their role is a major cause of frictions leading to bad governance. Consequently, the federal government is providing requisite knowledge to board members to enhance effectiveness and good governance. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Good governance is achieved where actors obey the rule of law. Transparency, accountability, equity and efficiency, lack of proper induction and orientation for newly appointed governing board of federal parastatals, agencies and commissions, observers say, has proven costly for the nation. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, in a message urged the board members to obey all extant laws guiding their role in their various establishments in order to enshrine good governance and effectiveness.
Statutory boards / councils shall set operational and administrative policies in accordance with government policy directives. A board shall not be involved directly in the day-to-day management of a parastatal or an agency.
This plans to ensure economic stability, national development, and good governance.
Bureau of Public Service Reforms and a development partner co-organized the workshop.
The Buhari administration has committed itself to reform the civil service and to the fight against corruption.
Concerned with the increasing number of disputes and misunderstandings between board members and chief executives of parastatals and agencies. Based on this, government directed for us to do this training.
The board sometimes behaves and operates as if it's the executive. They are really to provide the guidelines for policy, oversight function. They are part-time, they are not full-time.
The 2-day induction program is aimed at strengthening the capacity of the board members towards a better service delivery to Nigerians. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
All tiers of government must cut down on non-essential expenditure in order to help defray the cost of providing critical infrastructure and social amenities for Nigerians. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed says to this effect, President Buhari has constituted a presidential committee on the review of salaries to scale down federal expenditure. Lydia Sampson reports.
Challenges are not peculiar to Nigeria as the world continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. The finance minister noted that despite economic vulnerabilities, revenue performance is more than 70%, with a revenue to GDP target of 15% as outlook. However, frugal spending, she says, is the way to go for economic sustainability.
We have very limited revenue, and we have to use whatever money we borrow very, very wisely. We must review our expenditure patterns. We're just spending too much and we're not generating enough.
The minister also gave reasons for the nation's debt profile, which she says is within sustainable limits.
What we've done so far is to try to just provide some stability, to make sure salaries are paid, that pensions are received every month, that we send funds to the Judiciary and the legislature, that we meet our debt service obligations. So that's what we're doing. But it also means that we have had to borrow more than we had planned before the COVID-19 started, because we need to still continue to invest in infrastructure using our capital budget.
Other economic experts on the program advocated increased patronage of made-in-Nigerian goods and the need for caution in borrowing.
What we need to do in terms, given what government has been doing, in trying to manage this situation, is for us to, first of all, enlighten ourselves. So I think government has to do a lot more in carrying every Nigerian along, in making Nigerians realize that this is a problem, global problem, and this problem is not just a governmental problem, it's everybody's problem.
Let us see how we manage the stock that we have at this point in time, while the government is implementing measures to grow revenue so that the burden becomes less.
There was consensus for strong fiscal buffers and sustainable economic reforms, as well as greater sensitization of Nigerians to understand government efforts at keeping the Nigerian economy afloat. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The federal government has completed plans to establish a special agro-processing zone in the Cross River State for the South-South region in Nigeria. A federal government delegation said this during an inspection of agro-allied industries in Cross River State. Paul Abel reports.
The federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has continued to make giant strides in the agricultural sector, and again it is proving its mettle with Cross River State, serving as the hub for agricultural processing activities in South-South Nigeria. The delegation, comprising representatives from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Finance, African Development Bank, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, are on a pre-appraisal mission to appraise the level of Cross River State government's preparedness for the project.
We want other countries to use our finished product. That's why SAPZ is very, very key.
Cross River has really shown us that they are ready and more than ready for the SAPZ.
Cross River State Governor, represented by his deputy, Professor Ivara Esu, appreciates the team and the federal government for citing the agro-processing zone in Cross River State.
The state we have reached, we cannot come back as far as agro-processing industries and also the production of agricultural raw materials are concerned.
It's a win for Cross River State for this special agro-processing zone to be located in Cross River State.
The team toured round some agriculture projects in the state, which include the ultra-modern rice milling factory Abuja, Bansara Rice Farm and Mills, Ayade Industrial Park, Calabar, as well as some private farms in the state. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And from Calabar, we head to Lagos to join Adeola. She's set to bring us some reports now. Adeola.
Okay, Ruth. The federal government is not just connecting the seaports to the rail network, but expediting actions on getting into the terminals, which invariably will enhance cargo delivery and evacuation while saving cost and turnaround time. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi gave the indication while on an inspection of the Apapa corridor to discuss impediments to accessing the APM terminal. Michael Olaleye reports.
Getting access into the Apapa corridor is one of the milestones recorded in the rail revolution. The determination to fast-track the evacuation of cargo is paramount in the blueprints. This unscheduled inspection by the Minister of Transportation is to ensure that barricades to the lane of trucks into the terminals are eliminated.
For new equipment, because this one is useless, that's what it is.
Sequel to now, it has been agreed by all stakeholders that these custom scanning sites will give way for trucks to enter the APM terminal in Apapa. Despite fulfilling necessary provisions, the tax seems huge than earlier emphasized.
You can actually commission this project without that, because it's not just one track. There are several tracks. That's one of the tracks that we're going to fix. So all we're doing is to make sure that out of the 3 tracks, 1 or 2 at least can get to the quay, so that we can commission, pending when the other ones are completed, as one of these challenges we are meeting inside the seaport.
A meeting of key players in the rail subsector will be looking at options on the cards, especially means of navigating around the 750 meters available for trucks to get to the APML terminal if the custom scanning site is not removed to get the required 800 meters.
We have to get to the seaside so that the ship can load direct to reduce multiple handling of goods. And by so doing, you will reduce costs of the movement. Because presently we now get ourselves involved in multiple handling. You have to pay for truck to take it to the railhead. That's why the minister is insisting that we must get to the seaside, and which is the best way to go for Nigeria.
The interest of key players here is how to kickstart freight operations on the standard gauge in an atmosphere devoid of any impediment to accessing cargoes. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And talking judiciary now, the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja chapter, has embarked on a peaceful protest in solidarity with the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSN, in the quest for financial autonomy of the judiciary. Hengino John Adams reports.
It is 2 weeks since the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria commenced indefinite nationwide strike. All courts are under lock and key, halting all judicial activities. Union members say they will not budge until their demands are met. Now that the Nigerian Bar Association has added its voice to the issues at stake, more attention is being drawn to urgently enforce the so much advocated autonomy to promote productivity in the sector.
Constitutional provisions that had been ignored and rejected and brazenly trampled upon by the state governments all over the country. We of the NBA feel that it's actually our responsibility. We are leading stakeholders, and that's why, as of necessity, we must join them.
We are actually taking the march and delivering a letter to the governor today that we are calling for the full implementation of the provision of the Constitution as it borders on financial autonomy for the judiciary. That the era where judiciary will have to go cap in hand to the executive to beg for their projects to be run should be a thing of the past, because it violates the provision of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
The peaceful protest is expected to be replicated in all the branches of the Nigerian Bar Association across the nation. In Lagos, Hengino John Adams, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos for now. We shall take our first break. And when we return, Nationwide will continue with Fatima in Makodi. To stay.
The
The Muslim Ummah are cordially invited to the 15th NTA, FRCN and Voice of Nigeria Ramadan lecture, scheduled for date 24th April 2021, time 9 a.m. inshallah. Topic: Causes and Solutions to Nigerian Security Challenges, the Islamic Perspective. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Dr. Jabir Sani Mehula, Head of Department, Arabic and Islamic Studies, Sokoto State University, Sokoto. The venue for the event is Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Kaduna. Chairman of the occasion, His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed Nuhubamali, Emir of Zazzau. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Malan Nasir Ahmed Arufai, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Hosts Yaqub Ibn Muhammad, Director General NTA, Dr. Manzur Liman, Director General FRCN, Dr. Sita Okechuku, Director General Voice of Nigeria. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Recently, both the President and Vice President demonstrated leadership by being among the first Nigerians to have the AstraZeneca vaccine administered to them on live TV for all in the country to see. Subsequently, many federal ministers, political leaders, and members of the Presidential COVID-19 Task Force have publicly taken the vaccine to follow in the footsteps of President Buhari and Vice President Oshibaja. To obtain it yourself, please go to the NPHCDA website. There is a link to click on in order to register and schedule your vaccination. In the meantime, please continue to wear face masks, wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and observe social distancing. This message was brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Good evening and welcome to Makudi. The Federal Road Safety Corps, Borno State Command, has warned petroleum tanker owners against the non-use of safety values to guard against spillage of petroleum products when involved in road crashes. This warning is coming against the recent incident involving a fuel tanker that spilled its contents after losing control, burst in flames at Oshigudu community in Agatu local government area of Benue State on Saturday, killing 12 persons and destroying several property. Simbia Tagbaji has more.
The non-installation of safety valves and other gadgets, especially on trucks conveying inflammable products, have over the time posed serious risks to human lives and property. The recent case of an accident involving a tanker conveying premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, claimed over 10 lives and several shops at Oshigudu in Agatu local government area is still fresh in the minds of many. It is to curb this ugly trend that the Federal Road Safety Corps, Benue State Command, has vowed to impose necessary sanctions on all drivers that contravene safety standards on the roads. Also reacting to the incident, Police Public Relations Officer Sewisi Aneni said 8 bodies have been recovered from the scene, while 16 houses and shops were razed and injured persons have been conveyed to a public hospital in Otukpo for treatment. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
Governor Samuel Otom has settled the hospital bills for victims of the recent attack on Umbamondo community in Makurdi local government area of Benue State on Saturday. The governor, who lamented the situation, vowed never to relent in fighting criminality. Charles Abba reports.
The recent attack on Bamundu community Saturday at the outskirts of Makurdi metropolis by bandits left no fewer than 7 persons dead and 5 wounded. Governor Samuel Otom visited the 5 persons wounded at the Bishop Murray Hospital, Makurdi, where he sympathized with them, settled their hospital bills alongside those of other patients. The governor expressed his determination not to relent in encouraging and supporting security agencies in beefing up intelligence to arrest and bring perpetrators of crimes to justice.
They are doing very well here from the report I've gotten. Those who have died, by tomorrow we're going to bury them. But we'll continue to struggle, call all our people to continue to support us and to be alert and to report cases of suspicion to security agencies so that will not fall into the hands of these people.
He equally pledged his continuous free treatment of snakebite victims at the health facility, no matter the cost. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
That's our contributions from Makurdi. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Federal government says it will continue to engage best educationists and other endeavors towards repositioning Nigerian universities with the aim of driving the country's inevitable transition to knowledge-based economy. Now, this was at the inauguration of governing councils of 5 universities. The newly inaugurated councils were challenged to bring their experience to bear in the country's quest for rapid development and resuscitate the universities so they can fulfill their mandate of providing quality teaching, research and community service.
The drive to revamp the quality output of higher education in Nigeria rests squarely on the shoulders of prominent citizens like you. Governing councils are expected to concentrate on broad policy issues, adopting best practices, monitoring of institutional projects, and securing additional funding to improve the facilities and infrastructure that will promote teaching, research, and learning in your institutions.
We too are undertaking today to be a significant part of the process of reinvigorating the tertiary education system in this country.
It will be recalled that federal government had cast to dissolve councils of universities of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan and maritime universities arising from their inability to discharge their duties accordingly, while that of Obafemi Awolowo's tenure expired 3 months ago. And more from the education scene, the National Board for Technical Education has commended the College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Lafia, Nasarawa State, for upgrading the institution to provide effective learning. Leader of the delegation, Dr. Rufai Ibrahim, gave the commendation when the team visited the college on an inspection tour of facilities for accreditation of more courses. Abigail Bashir reports.
The visit is not far-fetched from ensuring that the institution meets the status of accreditation by the board. Already, the institution has undergone upgrade of facilities as well as construction and renovation of structures to meet up the standard. It is also working to expand courses in sciences and management technology as well as engineering. Leader of the team, Dr. Rufai Ibrahim, harped on more support for technical and vocational education. He intimated the management that more teams will be coming for roundup inspection.
We have been great renovation of Borno. So we ask the state government to continue to do more to lift the college. in terms of teaching and learning.
Provost of College of Agriculture, Science and Technology, Musa Yahaya Kafi, assured the team that the college will continue to live up to its mandate, especially in training its students on modern agriculture.
You will notice that some new structures have been put in place in the college since the last visit in 2017. This is credited to the massive support received by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullah.
The verification exercise is expected to last for 5 days. In Lafia, Abigail Bashi, NTA News.
Our next stop will be Port Harcourt, and Gabriel will guide us.
Thanks, Ruth, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Anti-vandalism unit of the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has intercepted suspects involved in various crimes in the state. The Corps says it will continue the fight against vandals in the state until this stay off national assets in the country. Robinson Directed brings us this report.
The Anti-vandal unit of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Rivers State has intercepted 13 trucks loaded with adulterated petroleum products under the guise of conveying salt or chicken feeds. State Commandant of the Corps, Mukhtar Lawal, says the proactiveness of the anti-vandal unit, headed by Abdullahi Umar, resulted in the seizure of 18 drums, 1 bus, and 5 cars, all containing adulterated petroleum products. The Corps also recovered vandalized railway equipment, among others.
The fight against vandalism along the rail tracks and all oil installations in Rivers State is ongoing and will not stop until vandals stay off the critical national assets and infrastructure in the state. In the bid to discourage the floating of illegal dumps in the residential areas in the state, the command also destroyed 2 suspected illegal dumps. Also, since this is a farming season, measures have been put in place by the command to ensure that farmers and herders go about their businesses without fear of possible attacks.
The command paraded 37 suspects in connection to the crime, 8 of whom were handed over to them by the Nigerian Navy for impersonation. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratede, NTA News.
The tranquility that comes with the acronym of calm and live in Beatrice, Calabar seems to be fast eluding the city due to the increasing rate of crime, the recent being allegations of beheaded bodies dumped in a valley, and other crimes. Justina Etim takes a look at the security situation in the city of Calabar and now brings us the reports.
It was due to increasing cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, and the likes that the Cross River State government constituted a joint security outfit codenamed Operation Akbaku to tackle these challenges, and this task force has to an extent lived up to expectation. Just when it seems like the people of Calabar were sleeping with their eyes closed, crimes and criminalities are resurfacing in the metropolis, and the recent is the story of severe decomposed bodies dumped in a valley, as well as allegations of a 58-year-old woman raped and murdered in her residence, trending in the social media.
How do these people get into Calabar when we know that at all these strategic points, there are security operatives?
One day before yesterday, they robbed parliamentary area, and that is not good. Even this Operation Akbako, they are not helping matters.
While we congratulate the Excellency for taking that bold step, we also encourage him to also fortify it again, or let him step it up again.
The Cross River State Command of the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps confirmed that 8 decomposing bodies were found in a valley, though they were not headless. The police public relations officer in a telephone call says the command has not received any reports on the dead bodies, while the young man who claimed on social media that his mother was raped and murdered is not picking her calls. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
That's all from Port Harcourt. Nationwide continues with Muhammad in Maiduguri after this break. Stay with us.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Good evening and welcome to Nationwide from Maiduguri, Borno State capital. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has initiated his administration's urbanization program with plans to transform communities in 5 local government headquarters in the first phase. The governor announced this in Mafa town while inspecting ongoing developmental projects in the council headquarters, in addition to provision of humanitarian support to the people. Muhammad Goni reports.
Governor Babagana Umar arrived Mafa last Friday from Damasak, where he passed the night on Thursday. Communities in Bu, Gubio, Kaga, Mapa and Munguno have already been earmarked in the first phase of the urbanization scheme.
We have started urbanizing some villages and towns in Borno State. Mapa was earmarked as one of the villages that we want to start construction of, befitting quarters to provide accommodation to public servants that are residing in this community.
Professor Babagana Umar has supervised distribution of food and cash support to 9,400 interns. Each of the 3,500 male beneficiaries received a bag of rice, maize grit, and cash support, while each of the 5,900 female beneficiaries was given a wrapper, 2 packets of sugar, and cash.
Na gode ma gwamna da ya ebe muna yunwa mu ta kwanan nan. Mun gode ma Allah wangije ya saka mishi da alheri.
The governor then inspected some ongoing projects, which include a drip and sprinkler irrigation scheme, a vocational training center, shopping complex and motor park with 150 market stalls. He later addressed residents, urging them to take advantage of the holy month of Ramadan and prayed for return of peace to Borno and the nation. The governor also expressed gratitude to Northeast Development Commission for complementing efforts of the Borno State government. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
The federal government conditional cash transfer program has commenced in Borno State with the training of local government facilitators for the exercise held in Maiduguri, the state capital. The cash transfer facilitators from 13 local governments who participated in the training are expected to coordinate display of beneficiaries lists from wards and communities and subsequent enrollment for the monthly household uplifting stipend. Yagun Subukar has details.
The Conditional Cash Transfer Program, an initiative of the federal government with the slogan Better Don't Come, is aimed to help the poor graduate from poverty and build resilience to withstand shocks and risks. The program is also geared towards enhancing human capital and promote sustainable livelihood. About 13 local government areas are participating in the step-down training, where they will be guided on how to go about the enrollment program. Enrollment Manager, National Cash Transfer Office, Sadia Abdullahi, while giving an overview of the program to the local government facilitators, urged them to discharge their duties diligently.
The program targets the poorest of the poor in our communities with the objective of smoothing household consumption through regular and accessible cash transfers monthly, 5,000 naira.
Sadia Abdullahi equally informed that in spite of the successes recorded by the federal government in the conditional cash transfer in the country, there are some challenges also encountered. State Head of Unit in Borno, Babagwani Ali, urged the facilitators to be committed for the program to meet its desired objective. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Maiduguri. It is back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. And welcome back to Abuja. The Firearms Act of 2004 apparently did not provide adequate sanctions enough to deter smugglers of firearms and their benefactors. Now, this no doubt is reflected in the recurrent seizures by the Nigerian Customs Service of illegally imported firearms. With the security situation in the country, the Senate is considering a bill that seeks to amend the Firearms Act and increase its penalties. The bill, having passed second reading, has been subjected to public hearing. Let's hear more from Ignatius Onkwo.
On the 16th of February 2021, the Senate passed the Firearms Act Amendment Bill for second reading and referred it to the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for public engagement. 2 months after, the bill, sponsored by Senator Obasani, seeking to provide stiffer penalties for illegal possession of firearms, has been subjected to public hearing.
In order to provide for stringent punishment for people who illegally import firearms into the country.
Firearms bill once more brings arms bearing in relation to safety and security.
To establish comprehensive and coordinated disarmament and arms destruction ceremony.
Agencies concerned, the Nigerian Army, Navy, Immigration, Nigerian Law Reform Commission, and the National Boundary Commission made critical submissions.
Section 27, that is of the Principal Act, which provides for the fine of 1,000 naira, which the bill seeks to increase to 1 million.
The Nigerian Force recommends the imposition of a stiffer penalty, such as the fine of 3 million naira.
That section 39(1) should include home-made firearms, which are called ghost guns.
The Senate Joint Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Navy and Marine Transport also sought public opinion on the Exclusive Economic Zones Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill, which seeks to unify Nigeria's marine laws.
In the absence of an agreement, the delimitation of this zone as between Nigeria and any other coastal state shall be in accordance with Part 15, Roman numeral, of the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea.
The proposed law, sponsored by Senator George Sekibo, is also expected to give Nigeria claim to all its marine jurisdiction. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to the judiciary. Members of the Nigerian Bar Association have embarked on a peaceful protest to the National Assembly to show support to the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, who are demanding financial autonomy for the judiciary. Dayo Ogunshola reports.
The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria has embarked on strike to drive home the demand for financial autonomy of the judiciary, especially at the state level. To support this agitation, body of lawyers in Nigeria was at the National Assembly to meet the leadership of the nation's legislative body to drum up support for the demand. Although the lawyers were unable to gain access to the National Assembly, nevertheless, they presented their messages.
Please urge the federal government to put into effect the particular term that says that the Accountant General can withhold the funds meant for the judiciary and pay same to the heads of the judiciary without recourse to the state governors.
It must not be misunderstood. We are here as a body to support Judicial, because we are on the same page on this narrow issue with the federal government of Nigeria, with even the National Assembly, where there has been strict compliance.
And you and I know that if somebody has to give you money to run your house, that your house is not independent. You who is running that house cannot claim to be independent.
While reacting to inability of the lawyers to gain access to the National Assembly, Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Bala Mohammed Jabani, blamed it on communication gap, requesting a new arrangement for the umbrella body of lawyers to meet the leadership of the nation's legislative body. From the National Assembly, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
In a related development, the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria is to meet with the Minister of Labour and other stakeholders towards finding a solution to the lingering dispute arising from non-implementation of financial autonomy for Judiciary. Omenka Amarachuko reports that a leader of the union made this known during a peaceful protest in Abuja.
The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, which is the umbrella union of judiciary staff, had since April 6, 2021, left all courts in Nigeria under lock and key due to the non-implementation of financial autonomy for the judiciary as the third arm of the government. The union staged another protest when they received a message postponing earlier scheduled meeting between the stakeholders.
They were to meet, they sent us a text that the meeting has been postponed indefinitely, that a date will be communicated to us. That didn't go down well with us. That is why we called for this protest. But surprisingly, as we're here, we have just received a message that we are meeting tomorrow with the governors before the Minister of Labour. That is why we won't take this protest far.
The Nigerian Bar Association protested in solidarity with the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria and called on all stakeholders to resolve their differences in the best interest of the country. In Abuja, Umeka Mrachuku, NTA News.
Similarly, members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria Kwara State Branch joined their counterparts nationwide to embark on a peaceful protest to further drive home their demands for judicial autonomy. Olajide Bello reports that the protest was conducted under the supervision of officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force Kwara State Command.
Ensure that none of these hooligans mingle with us to destroy government properties.
That is the Kwara State Acting Secretary of the Nigerian Labour Congress addressing members of Judicial before the commencement of the peaceful protest. The protest, which commenced from the Kwara State High Court, went through Ahmadu Bello Way and terminated at the Government House, where leaders of the union aired their grievances and called for urgent government attention.
After this protest, we believe they are going to grant our request, what we want from them. They are going to grant our financial autonomy, and from there we'll resume back to work.
Judicial autonomy, according to the union, will cut bureaucracy in judicial arm of government and address other bottlenecks in the judiciary.
Our counterpart at the federal level has been enjoying their autonomy. We want that gesture to be streamlined down to state level and ensure full separation of power between the executive and legislative and judiciary.
What does the union stand to gain if given financial autonomy?
When they have the autonomy, they know what they want, they know how they can get it.
Stakeholders are hopeful that the yearnings of Judicial will be given listening ears by the appropriate quarters and end the suspension of judicial activities for the arm to resume its duties in the dispensation of justice nationwide. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
A look at other issues. The Osun State government has reiterated its optimism in exploring the vast opportunity inherent in tourism, as well as showcasing the Yoruba culture to the entire world so as to boost the nation's economy. Governor Gboyega Oyetola stated this while playing host to the Nigerian ambassador designate and High Commissioner to the Caribbean. Joshua Ogunjide reports.
The delegation was led by Dr. Maureen Tamino, the High Commissioner and Ambassador Designate to Jamaica, Belize, Haiti, Dominican Republic, who doubles as the permanent representative of the International Seabed Authority. The visit was to advocate for a bilateral relation between Nigeria and some countries on the Caribbean island with regard to culture and tourism. Tamno noted that, considering similarity between the Caribbean countries and Nigeria in terms of photography, language and norms, employment can be created in areas of agriculture, arts and crafts, as well as exportation.
As a resume office, I will ensure that we put that up and have a visual meeting to work the appetites of the investors both ways. And then eventually we'll get them to come. Let us have exchange programs, develop our economy, and make our state a better place.
The Osun State Governor could not hide his excitement as he highlighted that the richness of the Yoruba culture translating to economic prosperity for all is expedient. Osun is now more than willing to develop the Yoruba tradition and export it to the outside world.
So we're able to now have this thing and take it to other countries. These people will be willing to come for excursion or holiday.
The Osun State government is looking forward to actualizing this through the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in conjunction with private partners. In Osogbo, Joshua Gujide, NTA News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama and the Managing Director of the Nigerian Film Corporation, Dr. Chidia Madwekwe, are collaborating to attract foreign investors to Nigeria. Now, this is a sequel to the success of film industry at the moment, which makes Nigeria second in the world, just with only France's bilateral agreements supporting Nigeria's creative industry. They say the lucrative venture in the film industry will help youths in the country be self-reliant, just as they gain global prosperity.
Film industry and other cultural industries contribute to America's GDP and India's as well. So that's absolutely the way to go. And we're looking at job creation and so many other things.
With this one relationship with France, the Nigerian film industry is experiencing a mega boost. And imagine if we had up to 14 collaborating relationships with other countries like they do in South Africa.
They also added that Nigeria's diverse culture will make it more attractive to the world if the major players in the industry project the good image of the people in performances such as music and plays. The challenges of dwindling income has made Gombe State to look inward to supplement the state's income from the Federation allocation. Emmanuel Akila takes a look at a modern approach in Gombe State to ensure that development projects are funded.
Besides ensuring that all controversies regarding land ownership in Gombe State are amicably resolved, the headquarters of the Gombe Geographic Information System is poised to ensuring that all land revenue accrued to the state government are collected for the purposes of development.
When Gorges came into being, after digitizing those records, now if we want to trace you, we can search our system. After searching our system, we'll know your address, we'll get your phone number, we'll call you.
Gorges is out to enforce compliance with the state revenue laws, beginning with commercial businesses. The Director General of Gorges, Dr. Kabir Usman Hassan, is leading the Operation Pay Your Grant Rent team, and defaulters' premises are being sealed.
So many years, people have not been complying with this ground rent. So all these places that we sealed, we've go around. We serve them notices, like we serve demand notice, we serve reminder notice, and now we're supposed to give the revocation letter that we are revoking the land to give it to somebody who is interested to be paying state government what is supposed to be paid.
Gorges is not leaving any stone unturned pertaining revenue generations as it relates to land ownership, which is why it is going tough on commercial premises.
The Revenue Enforcement Team continues its operation towards effective revenue generation in Gombe State. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And next is Sports Update.
Time to bring you up to speed with some trending sports stories. I am Bade Adeleye. Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, has commended the Nigeria School Sports Federation for their Support School Sports initiative, which is aimed at ensuring that all primary and secondary schools in the country have sports as a core curricular activity. The minister gave the commendation while granting audience to the Federation in Abuja on Monday.
Everything you have enumerated sounds fantastic. I would love to do that.
The essence of this visit is to say yes to school sport and also to ensure that we revive inter-house sport in our schools.
There is a ray of hope for grassroots sports talents in the Federal Capital Territory after certified instructors in gymnastics, badminton and basketball used the 2021 International Day of Sports for Peace and Development to expose kids, including those in IDP camps, to the sports.
We're trying to see how we can get our children's mindset back to doing sports.
To a bit of handball now, former national and international handball players under the auspices of Mega Veterans Association are ready to partner Handball Federation of Nigeria in grassroots developmental program. This was their submission after the conclusion of the body's electoral congress, where Seydou Jibril succeeded Mark Jacob as chairman of the 9-member executive committee.
If it means getting through the presidency to ensure that handball gets to the highest peak, we'll do our best.
And finally, Monday's sack of Jose Mourinho as Tottenham manager has continued to divide opinions among supporters of the club. Mourinho and his backroom staff leave the new White Hart Lane Stadium just 17 months after being appointed, with reports claiming his sack was only due to poor results. And that will be all on Sports Update. I am Bade Adeleye.
Thank you, Badi, and we're done with Nationwide today. Thank you very much for your company. But we will not be tired to remind you that NTA is leading the campaign in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguele. Enjoy your evening.
This vaccine is safe and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Sitting is a natural thing to do as humans on a daily basis, whether in the office, at our various businesses, or while commuting from one point to another.
I sit 2 or 3 hours in my office, depending on the job I have on my table.
I do resume work by 9 o'clock, so 9 till times till 3. You'll be sitting either you do one patient job to another because we make dentures.
Sometimes when you're in the court, the court starts by 9, and sometimes the session takes up to 3 hours or 4 hours, and you sit through.
During the course of a day's activity, sitting is a must. While sitting itself is not bad, prolonged sitting, experts says, can shorten one's lifespan.
Sitting down makes you sedentary. When you're sedentary, that means that there's very little motion. You may say, after all, you're moving your hands and all that, but the human system is such that movement is supposed to circulate around all parts of the body, the blood system. And so when you are seated for too long, that motion, that circulation of blood is slow. And as it slows, it affects other functions of the body. Your brain, because the blood supply to your head is reduced. You even hear about people stroking in the office. They were seated and they just wanted to stand up and they stroke because blood hasn't circulated sufficiently to the brain. You know, it brings about cramps, arthritis, diabetes, even hypertension. And recently, to our surprise, it brings about mental problems. Because somebody that is sedentary, you're on the computer, and you don't socialize, you become antisocial, so you're psychologically affected. So, I mean, the hazards of prolonged sitting cannot be overemphasized. Besides exercising at home before getting to work, while at work, I try, like I said, to be up every 45 minutes. If you look to the left side of my office there, you can see that my intercom, which is supposed to be in most organizations, people have it on their table, on their desk. You know, I don't have mine on my desk, not because I wouldn't want to, but it forces me each time it rings to stand up. You know, if you look around my mobile devices, my telephones, my iPad, you won't find them on my table, except I'm taking a call or maybe attending to a message. You know, each time it calls for attention, I have to stand up.
Prolonged sitting, especially in a wrong position, can also lead to brain damage, strained neck, back problems, muscle degeneration, hip problems, leg disorder, amongst others.
Well, currently, I try not to exceed 45 minutes. Why? Yeah, because I discovered in the past that prolonged sitting was not very good for my health. You know, besides what we read and what our doctors tell us, I discovered that one, my belly was becoming distended, you know, kind of bloated, and I wasn't feeling generally well. You know, at the end of the day, I'll feel fatigued, I'll have leg cramps, and my brain wasn't I wasn't alert. You know, but when I now went into a little research with medical advice and adjusted my schedule in such a way that I'm not sedentary for more than 45 minutes. When I mean sedentary, I mean seated. So I ensure that I am up maximum of every 45 minutes.